Rape? What is rape? Rape is harsh and a legal act that no one should have to endure or perpetrate in their daily lives. Rape is when a woman is subjected to a sexual act against her will and without her consent. Rape is also characterized as a crime of expression of violence, wrath, and power by an individual with the intent to humiliate the victim. Rape occurs when a person pushes, sexually damages, assaults, or wrestles another person without considering the victim's feelings or pain. And the rape victims are brutally assaulted for the rapist's personal gratification and power. This can be defined as when a person takes advantage of a victim solely for the purposes of vengeance, gratifications, or sexual ones. They have had a great deal of difficulties and anguish, not only physically but also emotionally, and some have even died on the spot as a result of the rapist's forceful sexual intercourse in which they inserted toxic and deadly objects in victim's private area. The victims suffer from a lot of bruises or even internal bleeding as a result of the sexual intercourse. Furthermore, the victims of rape are emotionally affected by this catastrophe, leading to a variety of mental health problems such as post-traumatic stress disorder, suicidal ideation, sadness, self-isolation, and anxiety. Rape is classified into 3 types, which are gang rape, severe rape, and marital rape. However, marital rape is not considered or counted as rape under Malaysian law because it is legal sexual intercourse. Victims may also contract sexually transmitted diseases such as AIDS or even become pregnant unintentionally. So, for my opinion and in my opinion, a suitable and heavy punishment should be given to the rapists and justice to the victims of rape, and we fight against the rape issues and say no to rape.
In addition, cases of sexual assault in Malaysia have increased without the required action to curb them. The most recent statistics on the reporting of such cases indicates a gentle increase from 2013 to 2016. Malaysia isn't yet without hope. For years, numerous activities and NGOs are trying to find solutions to the prevailing issues of sexual assault within the country. The Joint Action Group for Gender Equality, which comprises of the Women's Aid Organization, the All Women's Action Society, and therefore the Women's Center for Change, has been spearheading campaigns for a standalone harassment law in Malaysia since the late 1990s.
Going good, we were talking about sexual harassment and how to take care of yourself, right? We were making a couple of jokes, but it's so normal at first. But slowly the jokes were getting weirder and more tough. We were talking about how there's a lot of laws protecting minors from sexual abuse or sexual harassment. And then he said, guess what? Kalau nanti korang nak rogol, janganlah rogol yang bawah 18, korang rogol yang atas 18. He really said that, and the girls were like quiet. But the boys, they were laughing. Like, it was so funny to joke about raping someone. We even talked about how that apparently kalau boys kena rape, it doesn't get reported because the boys is apparently sedap or it feels good for them. Like, what kind of, so much more that I want to say, but time is running out. So
when I spoke out about it, so many hate got towards me, and I don't understand why there is so many backlash and debate towards just making school a safer place. It's just making school a safer place. What is there to debate about it? But it just shows how this issue has been sitting under.
Going good, we were talking about sexual harassment and
Over the years, Malaysia has introduced teenagers to sex education while waiting for societal reform to be made as immediate and complementary methods for preventing rape incidents. If someone being raped in Malaysia, they can contact organizations like AWAM, SIS, or WAO. While in the United States of America, across the country, states are introducing and implementing legislation to strengthen their policy on how to deal with sexual offences. The legislation prioritizes the rights of survivors and improves the preservation of evidence that can raise the likelihood of persecution.
It was at the age of 15 where it happened in a hotel, a budget hotel. I was forcefully persuaded into it. I met him through a mutual friend. He befriended me. He became quite close to me. He called me almost every day to check on me. Back then, I was having problems with my family, specifically my father, because he wasn't around most of the time. But soon later on, he asked, have you ever tried, having sex before? Have you watched pornos? Do you know how to touch yourself? Do you know where your vagina is? Things like that. The first sexual physical contact that I got is, I remember him grabbing my hand, touching his penis in a car. So that's my first encounter, so I freaked out. There's this one night I was out with him. 15 years old, you can't really hold a drink proper. I remember being a bit tipsy, so I told him I wanted to go back. So he brought me to a hotel. It started off, he was kissing me. Slowly he took off my clothes and everything. Then I was shivering. I remember it's scared. I'm very scared. Then at one point I remember I told him, I said I didn't want to continue. It's really very scary. But he still forced himself on me. After that, I washed up. He got me back home the next day, thinking that he'll call me again in the morning, but he didn't. I tried contacting him. There's no answer, there's no response, no reply from him or anything. She gave me a very tight slap on the face. She slapped me, she yelled at me, she scolded me, because right after I told her what happened, she instantly dragged me to the police station.
It's in our hands to inspire the future feminists of the world, challenge the gender stereotypes and violent ideals that children encounter in the media, on the streets and at school. Let your children know that your family is a safe space for them to express themselves as they are. Affirm their choices and teach the importance of consent at a young age. Rape culture affects us all, regardless of gender identity, sexuality, economic status, race, religion, or age. Rooting it out means leaving behind restrictive definitions of gender and sexuality that limit a person's right to define and express themselves. Rape is never a funny punchline. Rape jokes delegitimize sexual violence, making it harder for victims to speak up when their consent is violated. Humor that normalizes and justifies sexual violence is not acceptable, most often involving sexual intercourse against the will of the victim through force or the threat of force, or with an individual who is incapable of giving legal consent because of minor status, mental illness, mental deficiency, intoxication, unconsciousness, or deception.
In a nutshell, sexual offenses, particularly rape, are a perpetual affront not only to sacred institutions like marriage, sisterhood, and motherhood, but also to humanity at large. Rape kills the victim and leaves him or her alive to suffer with the consequences of the trauma and injury every day. Every hour, minute, and second of the innocent party's existence must be lived as if she is half alive and half dead. The legal system is inefficient, slow, and expensive. Delays in trials caused by a backlog of cases and other delaying tactics used by the perpetrator muddy the case, cause proofs to vanish or disappear, and reduce the chances of the victim to achieve justice. Rape is a complex situation that requires a lot of factors in the administration of justice.